Hi, I'll be speaking with Karen from KarenTestsStuff about software testing advocacy. She'll talk about how she came up with the idea, the importance of diverse perspectives, and recharging as this can be a demanding role. Enjoy. Hi, I'm here with Karen from KarenTestsStuff. She's got a YouTube channel and a Twitch channel. She's also been recently featured in Test Bash World in a panel about getting involved in the testing community. Hi, Karen. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Now, I thought let's get straight into it. You're known for software testing advocacy. Could you tell us what is software testing advocacy?
Well, that's kind of the real question, isn't it? That's the question that prompted me to start my YouTube channel, KarenTestsStuff, and bring the discussion to the community. Here's what I've gathered so far. Advocacy is defined in the dictionary as public support or recommendation of a particular cause or policy. So people who advocate are therefore public supporters of something. Testers are advocates when it comes to risk identification and prevention, road mapping, user experience, and we even advocate for the craft overall. But we as testers already have many of the necessary skills that advocates need to be successful, because testers are empathetic and curious, and their breadth of product knowledge is really integral to the health of an overall product team. But I want to be sure to say that this isn't all that testing advocacy is, because we're just beginning to explore this idea as a community using these particular titles. But people have been doing this really well for years under other names. Quality coaches, agile leads, quality advocates, and many other widely used terms can all fall under this idea. So that's what makes it so approachable. It's always been here, so let's call it what it is and get everybody on the same page. The more people who join the conversation, the more diverse it is, so we can do it together.
Yeah, and with you talking about how diverse the conversation is, I really like some of the different people you've got on your channel. I mean, getting different perspectives on the same thing, because you could hear these words and it would mean different things to different people. So I think it's cool that you're getting those perspectives. And I think, if I remember right, what triggered the start of this discussion, bit of a tangent, was the idea of developer advocacy and how that exists as a profession, and realizing, well, why not the same for software testing advocacy, which, as you said, has existed for a while under different names, such as quality coaches, I think you said quality advocate, agile leads, but then calling it what it is. So bringing or shining a light to something that has been there, but gets its time to shine. Now,
Absolutely.
for you, how and when did you come across this idea or the term software testing advocacy?
Kind of made it up.
Oh, but that's awesome. I mean, you I'll say own something, but it's amazing to start something.
I was working in a company where we individually as testers did a lot of advocacy work, where we had a platform to advocate for bug fixes and the end user's accessibility of a product, feature prioritization, and for generally our testing work in general. But it made me think, who advocates for us? Who raises up those around them so we collectively grow taller together? When we struggle in our craft or in our career, who do we call on to breathe in new life and new ideas to solve problems? The answer for me has always been the community. The people who are in this world of software testing, who are hungry to make connections and share what they've learned. But advocates are always at a risk of burnout or compassion fatigue, because we're so vulnerable and we give so much. So it's important to be able to pour into yourself so that you have a supply of energy and intentionality to be able to give to others. That's why we lean on each other. when we run into trouble, there are people to help. There's billions of people out there, and chances are someone's been in your shoes. If not, then it's a perfect opportunity to share your journey with others and potentially ease someone else's burden witnessing your trials. So, because I just kind of started this conversation with a little YouTube video that was a couple of minutes long, I like to encourage other people to do the same, maybe in a different format if video scares you, but I often run into the idea that everything I want to say has already been said, but I respectfully push back on that because I want to hear how it sounds in your voice. I want you to show me the context with which you came to whatever conclusion it is. Share with me your thought process, and that'll show me the values that are important to you and will have influence over a lot of your life. So my encouragement is to find a platform, any platform, and do what fulfills your soul.
I like that. Now, one thing that you said that caught my attention was this idea of re-energizing yourself and how it can be, I'm not sure if draining was the term you use, but you need to refuel or fill your cup. So in the past, when you have struggled or needed some energy, how have you recuperated?
Oh, there's lots of ways. My friends help me both in person and online. I'll generally send a little message to someone and see how they're doing, see if they have time for a conversation. And even being an introvert, that really helps me because I've discovered that I'm actually an extrovert online. So I actually get energy from speaking to people online where I can be more authentically myself and put my feelings into words in a different way. Really helps me personally. And everybody's different. That's the thing. You have to listen to your body. You have to listen to your mind and make sure that you're being mindful of your feelings. Because if you don't listen to yourself, you can get to burnout way faster.
Yeah, I've actually been in a position, not necessarily directly work related, where I was using up energy and I didn't know how to fill my cup. And I technically listened to my body, but I ignored it. So actually then I wasn't. And it's interesting how you do need to find a way to recharge. Because I think the funny thing is when you can be so tired and exhausted that you don't even have the energy to put into recharging. And there's a certain level of irony in that, but not a great position to be in.
That's the position that I honestly see as burnout, is that not being able to put anything back into yourself. That's the point that I consider burnout to be.
Okay. I think it's I'm not really, looking back, I still don't quite know what it was. But yeah, I guess it's good to put not a label, but to call it for what it is. You said how you want to encourage people to have this conversation and whether or not a YouTube channel or something similar is the right medium. And what other ways could people go about this? Like, if not creating their own YouTube channel, what alternatives do people have?
Sure. That's the fun part. You likely already do advocacy. Do you help your team point user stories? You're advocating for the effort it will take to complete that task. Do you present bugs to the product owner for prioritization? Your recommendations advocate for the risk you see present with the issues you found and maybe even the severity. Even something as simple as just sharing something on social media when someone writes a new blog or releases a video. You're advocating for the people moving the craft forward. You're supporting ideas and conversations even without being directly involved in their creation, but you matter, so never take your voice or your platform for granted.
Do you have any further advice for someone who would like to get started with software testing advocacy?
Yes, I have a sort of a caution, but also an encouragement, because this whole idea is scary. It's not black and white. It's not yes or no. It's all an interpretation. So I realized that new ideas and changing kind of your previous brain patterns can completely upset your entire life. There are people out there that don't want you to do that. They're happy with the status quo,
So
and they're comfortable in their ways.
what people are you talking about? Or so is it, are you saying that people in general are reluctant to change, or?
Some people, not everyone.
And then
Um,
how would you know if this is happening, if you're trying to introduce something and that people are pushing back?
It's not so much the pushing back because I think that's important. I think that if your opinion differs from somebody and you want to have a good conversation about it, go for it. That's wonderful.
Mm,
It's the how do I say the combative aggression that's not welcome
okay.
in this type of topic and community because everyone's opinion matters.
Mm,
The action of holding people back because you don't agree with the discussion stifles creativity and prevents growth. Kind of keeps the same voices on stage when we're actually asking for more diversity.
mm, mm,
We can be better, but we need everyone. Your life and your life experience has everything to contribute in whatever way you choose, but it can be scary. So I would encourage you that if you're starting to see voices that hurt, maybe listen to the voices behind the scenes that are supporting, that are healing, that are making positive change and positive steps. Look and search out for those people and then surround yourself with them.
mm,
I have, and I've I've never looked back.
mm, mm. And there are heaps, I think there are heaps of those people who are supportive. Like, I think it can be hard, or it can be easy to just remember those who like put you down. I mean, if you think about on a personal level, like negative comments are going to be more memorable or than the positive ones. Like, I think it's like there's this ratio of when they actually cancel each other out, and they're not 50-50. But you're right, there's heaps of supportive positive people. I mean, there's someone online who's got the term stage mom, which I think is telling about who we have out there in the world. So I think that's really I think that's really true. And like, regarding the like stifling conversation, that makes me think a bit about psychological safety, because you learn more from different perspectives, and if you don't have people feeling safe, then they're less likely to express those opinions. Because if you're seeing people being shut down, like they give their thoughts, they give their opinion, and then someone goes, "I know you're wrong." Well, for some reason, you might not hear from that person in the future,
Yeah.
and you
Or
gotta.
others won't speak out because they see that as well.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me, Karen. If people wanted to find you online or get in contact with you, how could they go about doing that?
Absolutely. I'm Karen Tests Stuff everywhere on Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch. I'm Karen Tests Stuff on all of those platforms.
Sweet, thanks. And I'll make sure to include those links in the description box below.
Great. I'd
All
love
right.
for anyone to get involved with this conversation. Please join us.
Sweet. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.